2015, some people at the phone company tried to kill me, and now don't go calling Comcast or Boost Mobile. You might want to drop in at Boost Mobile, but no, the corporate, there was an illegal investigation. They were, first off, I mean, trying too hard to bring me on board with an illicit operation. Like, I didn't propose that we engage in such activities, and when offered, I said no. In the past, I have self-medicated microdosing speed. I sold pot. Don't get the two confused. Pot grows in the ground. God put it there. And really, all you're doing is trying to justify some kind of mistake that you can make a bunch of money off and then hide a hot major crime behind a petty felony. So when I said no, they played it like I ripped some heavy off, and well, the doctor ripped off the insurance company for probably about $40,000. They act like they don't hear me. So it's not just an illegal investigation, it's criminal investigation by criminals. I'm sure some of them have badges. That doesn't faze me. They try to play it like there was some kind of agreement, da-da-da-da. Well, there wasn't. No, that was intended to cover a previous arrangement that didn't exist. I don't know how confused you are about pot. Over half the country has legalized cannabis. The few remaining states where it's still illegal is going to be where the cartels are. Oh, duh. There's a lot of good cops. A dangerous job. It's made more dangerous by the bad cops. One bad apple spoils a bunch. You would think if there were any good cops, they'd do something about the bad ones. Outnumbered. South Carolina shot some kid on his first date over a bag of weed. What is it about cops in this country killing virgins, selling atrocities to the United Nations? I'm not trying to see a cut of that action, either way. America is currently occupied, subject to interim regime, not unlike Germany in the 1920s and 30s. That's right, you're the Nazis. You can't just legislate whatever works for your campaign fund. Saudi Arabia is providing tech support for the FBI. How dumb do we have to be for you to stay in charge? I intend to be as convenient as possible for the assertion of a legitimate, responsible authority here in the near future. If you are not affiliated by public record, financial statements, medical records with the people who have been ignoring a genocide in public schools for the past 30 years, we welcome you with open arms. Meanwhile, the United Nations values an American life at about $10,000. Or you get thrown in prison for $200. Or you can bundle that plan, turn it into a RICO act, and some Somalian can get rich overnight. See what I'm saying here? Bunch of disposable corporate assets getting pulled out of prison for the specific purpose of setting up some sucker. Well, like I said, I was born yesterday. This is my first rodeo. I sold pot. You gonna arrest me? I got people trying to kill me. Been some kind of mix-up. I don't owe anybody money in Florida. I don't owe anybody money. I mean, it would have been settled by now if I didn't have a zombie apocalypse talking about whatever they think they heard on my phone. Whatever Saudi Arabia told them to say. You expect me to believe it's worth more to corporate to ignore corporate sabotage? International, pharmaceutical, industrial sabotage. No, of course not. We're just under attack. Corporate's too stupid. They don't know. They're a mindless. It's called the hospital rebellion. I keep saying, first do no harm or you're not a doctor. so it shouldn't even be your responsibility. But from time to time, the Nazis lose some money. They make a bad bet. They lose money at the races, and they decide to just sell out the whole goddamn country. So they put a bunch of hucksters in charge, shills, charlatans, quacks. And it's not, necessarily entirely intentional, but this is how they think it works. So they do that, and now we either have to fix it or die. We're going to die. Don't worry about me. It doesn't actually exist on the round side of the planet. The Saudis dreamed up a scenario, and now the best they can do is disposable corporate assets. Worry about you. Just because since I know, like, I didn't do anything to deserve this, and then being, under the impression of some kind of serious mix-up, I went and looked into it hard at combat speed. The federal government owes me a bunch of money, corporate, but every goddamn ducks in a row. By the time I'm done suing, Indian Ocean is going to wish they had just starved to death. Corporate's going to be leasing skyscrapers just to jump out of them. Corporate has never gone to bed hungry when they, without meaning to. They've never wondered, where their next meal was coming from. They've never been punched in the face. They have never gone to sleep in a half-frozen mud hole with an M16 for a pillow. Corporate doesn't know hardship. Stress and hardship are different. I wasn't stressed. It was just hard. You're doing business with the Saudis. You're bringing that rape culture to the United States and acting like it's our fault. Try to explain right off the bat. But no, the doctors ripping off insurance, the insurance backed by FDIC, and it's all coordinated by the Islamic State. Don't take no for an answer. Doesn't matter if you're guilty or not. They already scapegoated you for some goddamn atrocity. You're obligated. But the thing about Islam is you're either a slave of the Prophet or the infidel. Once you accept the forgiveness of the Messenger of Allah, now all your atrocities are to your credit, because they are here to convert these people's children by the sword. Every once in a while, a school gets shot up because somebody thinks if they do something horrible enough, they'll be president one day. Homos and fucking retards follow me around. Yeah, the Supreme Court needs to legitimize the truth here. The Department of Veterans Affairs needs to say, hold up, fellas. Donald Trump should not be a politician. He is a living, breathing piece of excrement, walking around on his hind legs like he owns the place. Donald Trump is Muslim Jesus. Donald Trump is not a white-collar criminal. He's affiliated with child molesters, the gay mafia. They say the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. I'm pretty sure convincing these idiot peasants that they were doctors trumps that. Jeff Trump definitely exists. It's a real thing. I know you never see him on TV. In fact, if you look it up, look up the Trump family tree, he doesn't appear to be in there. But, I don't know if I could find a better one than the one I saw, but Mary's not in there either. It must be his sister. They're both online. They're both apparently, appear to be human, living their lives. How old's Mary? Is she married? Christians marry their enemies. It's going to be a rough adjustment for Donald Trump. He's going to find out what hunger is. He's not going to a posh country club resort prison. He's going to a real one. All this stupid, mindless, zombie bullshit that corporate is doing is part of their competition with a guy who invented bankruptcy for profit by contracting renovators, waiting till they were done, declaring bankruptcy, stiffing them, and walking with a profit after putting the police in a casino connected to a hospital behind the Privacy Act. So now you can take a dive and put it on the taxpayer. And the United Nations will cover it by persecuting oblivious retards until they scoop shit up a school. I watched the doctor rip off the insurance company. I just didn't realize that that's what he was doing, let alone that he was going to scapegoat me for it. FDIC. Not only am I worth more than his whole operation until we get this straightened out, I'm worth more than your whole operation. U.S. Navy Federal Credit Union, you want to just go ahead, just seize that and send me a limit? Send a Suburban full of guns, I don't care. mfrodeo.blogspot.com. Like, do I really need to swear? None of you remembers